Yogis, welcome to your Maya reset. Today's practice is open hearts. Today we will be working with a few different props. So if you don't have these, feel free to hit pause, and you'll need to help yourself today to a bolster, a pillow, some cushions, something to help elevate you. 2 blocks ideally today, and ideally they would be cork blocks if possible. And you'll also want a blanket today, a blanket that's reasonably thick and you're able to fold up in preparation so that you've got a decent edge to be able to utilize to support the head. So I've pre-folded mine. If you want to get yours ready and fold that up, if you don't have any of those, as I mentioned, hit pause and go and grab those now, and then settle back in and join us on the mat. The restorative postures that we're working through today are counter postures for some of the deep asanas that we've been exploring throughout our practice. And we've been working with some deep heart and hip openers, but they've been quite active stretches, and we're looking to take them in a more passive way today. We will be beginning with the legs elevated and inviting the heart to soften. The quote that we've been exploring is a quote by Peter Crone, and Peter says, "A broken heart is the access to an open heart." And so if you have felt in your practice this week a little broken, that's understandable. We've been working pretty deep. If you are feeling a little broken within yourself, your being, your heart, energetically, emotionally, this is the practice for you to really surrender, to really invite a softening, and to recognize the beauty that provides us, the spaciousness that provides us, and the connectedness, that doorway and that window for us to be able to connect more deeply to ourselves, but also to others. Let's begin. Yogis, taking your cork blocks and your bolster, and we'll be setting up our bolster tonight on a slight elevation to support the legs. So you'll want to take one of those blocks to the highest point and just pop it at the end of the mat. We're creating a tower and allowing the bolster to settle in and rest upon that block. The other remaining block, that one can just rest as support and tuck it into that end and that edge angle, because you'll find as you rest your legs on the bolster will bow down and bow in the center just a little. Let's get off these feet and roll to the back body. The blanket today is simply going to be supporting you, and you'll want it rolled enough so that it sits just across your thoracic, and then slowly find your way down to allow the pelvis to tuck in neatly against the edge of the bolster. And with our elbows taking the support and the load of our chest, our rib cage, just settle that blankie in around the mid to upper back. You want that supporting your shoulder blades. So as you rest, your head will hang just off the edge of that blanket, and it's only a very gentle elevation. It's a soft opening that we're looking for through the rib cage today. You'll be lengthening out the legs and finding the ankles today, the calves and the backs of the knees to rest upon the bolster. Palms open, and take the arms away from the body. We externally rotate at the glenohumeral joint at the shoulder to invite again that opening. Settling into stillness in this supine position. Close down the eyes and we'll begin dropping into our breath. As you slowly channel the inhales and the exhales through the nose, we consider our natural breath as we find our way to our first posture. We consider the length of both the inhale and the exhale. Consider the energy that you've arrived with upon your mat today. Noticing any emotions that you've brought with you to the mat today. Notice any little stresses you've been experiencing, whether they be mental, emotional, physical. And as you lay in support, with the pelvis supported, the back of your heart supported, your emotional centers, hips and heart, I want you to take the next inhale and acknowledge that support. Send your inhale to those spaces. And as you exhale, draw a smile to the face and release anything you've brought with you onto the mat today. Maybe a natural smile begins to creep upon the face. Realizing that right here, right now, in this moment, in this time that you have allocated for yourself, anything that you have brought with you onto the four corners of your mat today does not belong. All that belongs in this moment is your breath, the sensations you experience in the here, the now, the present moment, and the rest you can leave behind just for this short period of time. We honor the peacefulness. We honor the space that we are able to create within ourselves, around ourselves, and we surround ourselves with that blissful presence of our very being. Yogis, a broken heart is the access to an open heart. As you take your final 3 rounds of breath in your opening posture, acknowledging any parts of you that have felt broken leading up to this point, and allow yourself to open, allow the emotions to flow freely through you. As we practice in our reset, each posture allows us just that, the chance to reset, the chance to release. And for that to take place, we invite the flow. We invite what comes, and we invite what's ready to go. Bring some gentle movement to the fingertips, to the toes, and notice already the change in temperature upon your skin, maybe some tingling sensations as the lymphatic drainage has been working to release the blood and invite that flow to your extremities. Yogis, before you move too much out of this posture, the bolster will be staying as is. Your heart will be staying as is. We'll simply be drawing the palms to connect to your center and sliding the heels ever so slowly down the bolster, carefully to maintain that little tower that you've created. We'll be finding a supported Baddha Konasana as you allow the soles of your feet to meet, the outer blades of the feet to meet, and to peel the feet open. The knees will be free hanging, unsupported. Allow them to soften and hang either side of the bolster toward the mat. And with your palms turned down and connected to your heart, we're going to be here for 3 full rounds of breath, making any other micro adjustments you need. Maybe drawing the heels a little closer towards the sit bones. And then invite a softness and a stillness to the lower body as we send our breath now, deepening and lengthening the inhale to expand into the front of your heart. Let's inhale together for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's hold that breath for just a moment. Slowly releasing 4, 3, 2, and 1. And settling in at the base of the breath and experiencing that moment in Kumbhaka here too. Your breath retention, 2 more rounds, 3 total. Deep inhale and maybe find an elongation to your count and explore maybe a 5 count inhale here as you expand through the rib cage, experiencing that spaciousness for your heart. Take the moment in stillness and embrace it. This free floating space somewhere in between. The breath somewhere in between these moments, slowly releasing that exhale. Notice the drawing sensation and allow it to feel as your intercostals contract and your rib cage draws back to connect. Allow it to feel like a warm hug as you settle in stillness at the base of the breath. Last round of breath here, deep inhale, exploring maybe just 1 count longer. Finding your inhale reaching a 4, 5, or even a 6 count. Drawing inhale. Take that moment, pause, and then when you feel ready, release the breath, honoring the exhale and the release for the same length of time as your inhale. Just as much energy goes to release as what it does to invite energy into the body. Sitting in stillness at the base of the breath. Release your palms and that connection from the heart, and as you slowly take the hands to the outer thighs, we'll assist the knees to draw back together. We've taken a pretty deep hip opener here, so take your time. And as you slowly find the knees back to meet, we'll take the soles of the feet to the mat. The bolster can stay as is as you draw the knees in to rest. Heel toe the feet out just as wide as the mat, and maybe connecting the pinky toes to the outer edges of the mat, and allow those knees to fall in. Allow your hips, your thighs to internally rotate. Allow the knees to meet and feel the support of your left knee upon the right, your right knee upon the left. Evenly connected, evenly met and matched. Open heart we lie in this stillness, open minds, and ready to invite the flow. Yogis preparing to move as we begin creating just a little more flow. Bringing some heat to the body as you heel toe the soles back to connect to the mat. Create space between the knees, and we'll draw the chin towards the chest as you slowly draw to rise. Find the elbows and the palms upon the mat. Take a moment here before you progress any further and press into the hands. Draw the chest open and take the gaze to the back of the room. Open through your throat now too, as you sink into the collarbones and create space for the back of the heart. Staying just for a breath. As you inhale, create space between the collarbones, draw the chin back down to the chest and open through the back of the heart once more, sinking into the thoracic. Let's draw to rise, palms to the mat. Slowly adjusting and draw your seat back away from the bolster. We find that Baddha Konasana once more. And this time tucking the blanket beneath the hips and draw yourself in towards the bolster just a little closer. Close enough that as we find our Baddha Konasana replacing that cork block in the center, we're able to find support for the belly with the bolster. Keep that cork block handy as you may want just a little extra support for the belly. Feel free to take that tilt at the pelvis, fingertips walking along the mat as you now invite the belly, the rib cage forward to be supported. Checking in with your ability to take that forward tilt and the space that the bolster creates and acknowledge whether that's enough for you today. Creating a pillow with the forehead, and if you want a little more, if you need a little more support today, that cork block's going to come in really handy to rest either upon the top of the bolster for your belly, or maybe you want to raise the bolster just a little and take that cork block beneath the end as you pull the body back down. Find that pillow and rest the forehead. The block at the top of the bolster should be rested just beneath your hands and your forehead, keeping the spine long and creating that length by drawing the chin once more down towards the chest as you rest the forehead. Now 3 drawing breaths now as you inhale again, coming back to that conscious connection to your breath. That deep inhale we now send to the back of the heart. The back ribs, feel into that expansion and that space between them now as you take a moment's pause in that kumbhaka, that moment of breath retention. Long, slow releasing exhale, and as you do, soften in, surrender in, feel a heaviness. As you give your heavy heart into the support beneath you. Yogis, 2 more rounds of breath here, mirroring and matching that same length you were able to find on the front body as you deeply inhale, finding maybe the 4, 5, or 6 count inhale. Long, slow releasing exhale, mirroring and matching that inhale as you find the body heavy, the belly heavy, your heart heavy. Final round of breath here as you inhale and find your deepest length yet with your drawing inhale. Take that moment's pause to honor the kumbhaka at the top of the breath. And find that long, slow releasing exhale, your last breath here in your Baddha Konasana. And let's slowly draw you out of that forward fold as you take the forehead from the hands, tent the fingertips upon the mat and draw back to rise. Find the spine nice and tall. As we find our spine stacked in our seat, we prepare to move. Let's remove the bolster first from that elevated state, and you can just settle that beside you for now. Remove the cork blocks, and we'll be taking those now to open a little more deeply through the back of the heart. Again, using both blocks. This time you'll be taking both blocks even to the medium height, and setting them up to allow the shoulders to nestle between. That top block will be supporting your head. This middle block will be supporting your thoracic. And we're taking it across the thoracic today rather than up and down the spine. We're looking for the spine simply to connect to 2 or 3 vertebrae. Let's draw the knees back in and feel the support beneath the soles of the feet. Releasing your hips from the support of that blanket. And we'll be here for 6 counts of breath. So if you'd like to keep the body nice and warm, maybe use that blanket over the body now. And knees stay bent in this one, so the soles of the feet will stay connected, but allow there to be at least a shoulder width space between them. Take your time to draw back to the elbows, setting that cork block to the comfortable point of the mid-thoracic. And I should choose my words more wisely when I say comfortable. We certainly don't expect this to initially feel comfortable. Settling into the thoracic, and have a bit of trust as you release out of the forearms. Take the hands to adjust the cork block to support the back of your head. Find that space between the blocks to allow the shoulders to open. Allow the palms to open. And you're sending the hands out wide this time, direct line out from the shoulders. Prepare to take a deep inhale here, and it's going to feel a little more restricted than our previous breaths, at least initially, until you are able to completely surrender into that fixture beneath you, the support beneath you. Making any micro adjustments you need with the head for it to feel centered, and any micro adjustments you need for that mid-thoracic to feel supported by that cork block beneath your shoulder blades. And there shouldn't be any connection to the shoulder blades as such. The cork block will sit just below them, just beneath them. So you should find you're able to freely move the arms, and you can release the arms to test this out. Take a cross and feel that openness between the blades, just ensuring that you have that free-flowing movement, and then settle back into stillness. We'll be here for 3 more breaths as you come back to find now the body in complete stillness. Fight the urge to take any more adjustments. Fight the urge to fidget. Can you simply be? One more breath. Take your time, find length, find space. Ever so slowly releasing that breath, following the journey of the energy as it leaves your body. Yogis, this heart opener is a deep one. You're going to want to move slowly to our counter. Let's take a flip of the palms. Adjust them in close to the body. Connect to the mat. Allow the elbows to connect to the mat. We'll draw the back of the head from the block as you find your chin towards the chest. Slowly drawing the elbows further back to give you the space to release out of that cork block. You'll want to move that to the side, remembering the cork block beneath the head. And as you slowly find a curling of the spine, a release of 1 vertebra at a time to the mat. Drawing the collarbones in, drawing the back body to open. And then take the cork block from beneath the forehead. the back of your head, and find the legs elongated, the back of your head connected. We'll just take the arms overhead. Find the big toes together to connect. Find the fingertips to connect. And find an interlacing. And extend the toes towards the front of the room, the hands towards the back of the room as you create this length. Take an inhale and find a floating space beneath the back body. Acknowledging that support is always there. Whatever space we create between ourselves and the support that surrounds us, whether it be people, your mat, the earth, the things that hold us. Maintain that space as you slowly exhale. Next inhale, can you create some more space between yourself and that support? Drawing the shoulder blades together, slowly drawing the shoulders down the body, drawing the muscles of the side body into a contraction to find the entire spine now floating above the mat. Back of the head supporting you, the hips supporting you. And your spine, your center, your central cord, the center of your energy, your prana, your sushumna. And that line of energy that channels through you, simply floating above the mat as you take your final breath. Knowing at any time, if it ever gets too much, you are able to lean into that support that surrounds you. Open your heart now. Open the back of your heart and lean into that support. Release the hands and allow them to trail beside the body. Release the contraction of the legs. Allow the feet to soften. Feel connected to that support. Your open heart, your broken heart, whatever you've come with, whatever you've arrived with today upon your mat. You are supported. And let's find some movement through the fingers, through the toes. Our transition yogis will be to the side body. As you draw the soles of the feet to the mat, take a roll to your favorite side. Deeply hug the knees into the chest and find your fetal pose. And we slowly rise, pressing the hands into the mat. We'll be taking a roll now to expose the back of the heart, releasing out of that blanket, and we'll find the knees supporting us. And coming back to find that bolster. And you can do this with cork block. I like to take the bolster though, as it's a little softer beneath the elbows. Depending on what support you have, if you've just got a cushion or a pillow, I'd prefer you work with a cork block for some extra height and support for the support of the elbows. We're going to be finding a melting heart and Anahatasana pose. It's a variation though. And so we'll be drawing initially to find a tabletop position, and whatever support you're working with for the top of that Anahatasana, set that up just ahead of your hands now. And if you're working with a bolster, we'll be ensuring first of all the knees are directly beneath the hips. Take the I'll show you the alignment first. I had my blanket all tucked in, keeping me cozy and warm. I'll take that to my feet instead. Keeping the hips elevated above the knees shoulder width apart as we slowly peel our heart down. We're going to be resting the elbows upon the support in front of you. Now, if it is the bolster, you'll have the space to take the elbows quite nice and wide. Either way, you don't want to go beyond shoulder width apart. If you're working with your cork block, you may find that there's not quite enough space there across the block, and you might like to take 2 blocks here. So I'll show you the cork block variation also. If I'm working with my blocks, I like to have them together, connected, and on the medium height to allow for a similar height to the bolster. Your triceps and your elbows will be connecting to the top of the cork blocks, and you'll find them, although firm, also very stable. As we sink down in, you'll find the hands in prayer, whether you're on your block or your bolster, and allow the heart to melt, allow the belly to melt. And as you slowly surrender down, we're going to be drawing the forehead down towards the mat. Now you may find it simply hangs like a hammock, or maybe your forehead meets the mat. Yogis, as you rest here in your Anahatasana variation, if your forehead is very comfortably meeting the mat, feel free, as we're here for the 6 breaths, to make an adjustment a little higher. If you want to go just a little higher, maybe you lower the blocks if you have all the props available, and you take the bolster on top of the blocks. Feel free to settle back in now. You have 3 remaining breaths to take, using the inhales to back out of the posture just a little, and use the exhale to send you melting a little deeper into the mat, surrendering a little more deeply into the posture. Allow the belly to hammock, allow the rib cage to hammock. Using your final breath to invite the thumbs towards the back body. As you take a bend at the elbows, opening and finding a tricep stretch here too. And let's ever so slowly draw to rise out of that one. Once again, these deep stretches require us to move a little more slowly between these transitions, taking the hands back to find tabletop. We'll slowly adjust that bolster now to run the length of the mat. Move the cork blocks out of the way, and you'll be finding a supported balasana here as you sink the hips back towards your heels. Allow the bolster to draw in between the knees and slowly pull the body forwards. And finding the elbows connecting to the mat, creating a little pillow for the forehead with your hands as you keep the spine in a central open channel. The back of the neck open, chin draws in just slightly. And as you settle in here for your 6 breaths, we consider how we open our hearts to ourselves, to each other. Notice as you consider how open your heart is. If emotions arise, if you feel a shift within yourself, certain words, feelings that trigger a reaction within you. And if you do find there are any triggers in my words or your thoughts, the images that come to mind as we consider how we open and how open we are, it's a little sign of stored energy, a little sign of unresolved feelings, thoughts, emotions. Allow yourself to flow with that. Allow yourself to go with that. We're here for 2 more breaths. And preparing to move. Drawing the forehead from your hands. Let's take the palms back to the mat and slowly peel your belly, your heart off the bolster. Draw to rise in your seat. Yogis, you have one final posture today for your reset. You'll be creating another little tower, a little bit of a different tower this time. You'll need your blocks at the top of the mat, and we'll keep them on that medium height, but this time allow them to run like train tracks up and down the mat. Your bolster, you'll be setting that up above those blocks and then finding the bolster balancing. The blanket is going to be draped over the body, so have that set off to the side. And as you find your sit bones upon the mat, readjust, drawing the body in nice and close, assessing if those cork blocks are about hip distance apart, as they'll need to be, as they will be taking the load of your legs. Palms to the mat for some stability as you set up the calves to rest upon the bolster in alignment with those cork blocks. Make any little adjustments you need with your cork blocks to create space. We'll be having the feet free hanging here. And if you go too far, you'll find the feet will hang lower. We want them in alignment with the knees for this one. So you may find you need to adjust the hips a little further away from your tower. Making any adjustments you need to find that alignment for the shins, for them to be parallel with each other, but also horizontal to the mat. Drape the blanket over your legs, as you will find your toes and your legs here can get a little cold as we feel into that lymphatic drainage once more. Drawing back to the elbows, we come back to the posture we begun with our heart opener. Palms turned down, and this time walk the elbows in nice and close so they are stacked beneath the shoulders. We'll take a bridge posture here as you press the fingertips into the mat. Lift through the rib cage, feeling as though you're being pulled to the sky. Your heart being cracked open as you hang your head. Heavy, open through the throat, sink down into the collarbones as you exhale, sink into the mat and the low back. As you inhale, allow there to feel as though there is a lift, a pull from the belly, a lift or a pull from that bony little point at the base of your ribs, that xiphoid process as it pulls up towards the sky. And then release that connection, that pull as you exhale, sink into the shoulders, sink into the low back. One final breath here, imagining that I'm above you and I have tied a piece of string, a piece of rope around that point, and I'm drawing the rib cage to the sky. Allow this to be a super active stretch. It's your last active one for today. Allow the head to hang heavy and stay with this pulling sensation. Feel light through the elbows, the hands, feel that lift. Feel that release of load out of the mat. One final moment. And then sinking in between your shoulders, sinking into the spine. Allowing the head to hang. Sensing that heaviness. Let's draw the chin back to your chest. And find your body supported once more by the mat. Checking in with the neck, and take a gentle roll across the back of your head. And chin draws to the left shoulder. Feel space through the right side. Those muscles that run the length of your neck all the way down to the shoulder, your upper traps, your levator scapula, your scalenes, the muscles through the front of the neck. Allow them to feel long. Allow them to release. Let's slowly roll the head back to center. Take your moments in your centered state. Notice the difference from your left side to right side. Let's draw the chin across to the right. And as you hang that chin towards your right shoulder, note whether the left shoulder picks up, and if so, draw it back down. Maybe drawing the fingertips down towards the heels. Create space between the left shoulder and the left ear. Feel length for the upper traps, scalenes, levator scapula. Slowly release and take that roll back to the centered state of your skull, the support beneath it upon the mat. Bringing your awareness and attention to the lower body. Are you holding any tension, any contraction in the feet and the toes? Are you holding anything in the lower legs? And when we consider what we hold on to, it's not just the grip that we take when we hug someone, when we hold on to them, when we hold their hand, when we hold our loved ones. It's the hold that we have of the emotions in our own being. Are you holding on to yourself? Are you holding on to parts of yourself? Are you able to trust? Are you able to surrender and let it go? Allowing your palms to open. Allow your feet to open, your knees to open, your hips to open, your hearts to open. As you find yourself in your savasana, completely at rest and completely open. And yogis, if you have the benefit of time today at home for your practice, please hit pause now and feel free to stay as long as you please. Otherwise, invite some gentle movement to the fingers and the toes. Filling into some movements of the ankles, of the wrists, the arms, the shoulders. Maybe taking the arms to extend overhead. And you'll be keeping the lower limbs elevated, but slowly take your time to roll to your favorite side, keeping the feet stacked, the shins stacked, the knees stacked, as you create a pillow for your cheek, your ear, and find your fetal pose. And pressing into the support beneath you to draw to rise. Keep the eyes closed down, finding your way out of that support of the bolster. Then find a easy crossed leg. Find your Sukhasana. Staying nice and warm and cozy. Stay wrapped in your blanket. Allowing your body to feel held. And as you join me in the seats of Sukhasana, the seat of stillness, the seats of your sit bones, find your Sushumna, your energy channel on your spine, long and spacious and stacked. Take your palms and connect them once more to the heart. As you hold your heart in your hands, sense the flow, the beat, and embrace the sensation beneath your palms. Feel held, and whether you personally feel held in your current situation, whether you feel held and supported by your loved ones, your friends. Feel held with me now. Feel held by me. Feel held by your physicality, your strength, yourself. And allow a surrender. Allow your heart to feel open. Allow it to crack. Allow it to break. Expose it all. For yogis, an open heart, a broken heart is the access to an open heart. Let's draw our hands into prayer at heart center. Bow your chin towards your chest as we hang our head in reverence and respect to this beautiful, open, and broken heart that resides right here beneath your palms, held in your chest, held by yourself, held in the strength of your very being. On the inhale, draw the chin to rise, gently blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your open hearts with me today. Namaste.